And we live for another episode of Bet on Yourself. I am your host, Kieron Williams.
Jamel Herring over here.
And man, we got a special one for y'all tonight. So if you don't know if you don't know the monster, dog, they don't call this man the monster for no reason. I'm talking about he is one of the baddest men on the planet. He hails from Phoenix, Arizona, the undefeated powerhouse with a stunning record of 29 wins, 24 of them by knockout, which means he punching. He got an 83% knockout ratio. He is a two-time WBC champion, interim lightweight title holder, and he is known for being just nasty in there. So we got David Benavidez, the Mexican monster. Welcome to the stage, brother. Thank you for joining us, bro.
Oh man, David, finally got him on.
He was on, then he's gone. I think he having some technicals. Let me see. They need to connect their mic before. I think he's gonna hop back in. Until then, though, if you aren't tuned in for this fight on February 1st, I'm telling you, you about to see something that's action-packed. You about to see some KOs. You about to see something crazy, man. How you feeling about February 1st?
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one because I think it's an evenly matched fight. You know what I mean? Both Davids they bring good tools to the to the ring. They both are very different in terms of personality and fighting styles. But I think, like I said, styles make fights. I think it's gonna be a good matchup with the styles that clash.
And from what I've been seeing, I can't wait till we get them on. From what I've been seeing, there is no love lost. There is no friendship that we seeing. So it's gonna be an action-packed one, and we appreciate.
Yeah, I gotta ask him how that the last face-off went down in terms of when the non-handshaking, they throwing the belts at each other.
Right. WWE. So, yeah. It went down WWE style.
I know it's personal.
It went down WWE style. Let me text this.
But yeah, I mean it's a good matchup. And there's also, this the potential possibility, the winner could face the winner between the rematch between Benavidez and Bivol. So, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in the light heavyweight division.
It's a lot going on.
So I think 2025 is going to be a good year for boxing overall.
And I mean, we can't avoid the elephant of the room of he goes in there, beats this guy, and then beats Bivol. Canelo is right around the corner. He got to answer that.
I don't know, man.
He got to answer. Well, how about we just ask the man himself now? Like we said, this man is the monster, as you know him, David Benavidez. Welcome, bro. We appreciate you for joining us, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? My bad. I was having a little bit of issues right now on my other phone, but I got it all.
You good? You good?
No, you good, David. You good, brother. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice to see you guys too.
Yeah, man. So, man, we just want to kick it off. First, we want to give you your flowers, dog. Like, there's a lot of fighters that we get a chance to connect with, but none that are as feared as you are, that work as hard as you are, and with a story like yours, bro. Like you come from that bet on yourself cloth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bet on yourself from losing weight to having a brother who is cold to having a father who's hard on you, but also he just wants you to be great, and you worked your way to the top, dog. So we want to give you your love and your respect, bro. And, man, just keep knocking motherfuckers out because, as I see, you got an 83% ratio. And last time I checked, them was good grades in school. If I came home with an 83, we were going to piece of it. Yeah. So keep calling, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
For sure.
How you feeling though, bro? How you feeling though, man? I can see it in your. I see you. You know what I'm saying? You working because, like I said, everything you looking like you toning down now.
No, I feel good, bro. I mean, this is a really big opportunity for me. Every fight has been getting bigger and bigger. This is probably going to be my biggest fight up to date. We're fighting at the T-Mobile Arena. It's a lot of animosity in this fight. I don't like David Morrell. He don't like me. And at the end of the day, we get to go in there and beat the shit out of each other and give the fans a great fight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's
Nah,
right.
I feel you, bro.
Look, bro, I'm a football player myself. I love
Straight to it.
I love talking that shit. Now, when you say that there's bad blood there, for me, the first time me really seeing it on the outside looking in was the handshake. It looked a little disrespectful. Like, was that the first time that some disrespect was felt there, or has it been this way?
No, so it's been like that with David Morrell. But the thing about David Morrell, he's a fucking pussy and he's a fake person too. He'll talk shit about you. You know, he had said that I was a fucking fat piece of shit, that he was gonna knock me out, this and that. This was years ago. So when I had to confront him about it in the first press conference, he said that he never said nothing, this and that. And I'm like, dude, if you're gonna say something, you better stand. You might as well stand on that shit. You know, don't go back saying that you didn't say nothing. Like, you know, like, because we had all the receipts about everything. So the first press conference, after the press conference, when it was all done, nobody's seen anything. But when he came up to me after the first press conference, he shook my hand and he gave me a hug. So I was like, all right, well, he's probably just playing. He's just trying to play a show, you know what I mean, trying to play the part. So when we had went to did the second press conference, it was actually my birthday that day. So I'm going in there, you know, I'm not really trying to act too crazy, but when I went in there, the gym was packed, and that's the gym I train at. So those are all my people there, you know what I mean? I tried to shake his hand, and he left me hanging. He made me look stupid in front of everybody. So that kind of pissed me off. You know what I mean? And then he was already in my face saying, I'm going to knock you the fuck out, this and that. I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I got something for you. Pushed him back. He fucking flew back. And then, you know, like some fucking diva, he got his belt and he threw his belt at me. I'm like, oh, okay. This is like, in my head, when that happened, I'm like, bro, this dude could have hit me in the face and he could have shattered my eye. He could have did something. So now I took that personally. You know what I mean? Because when you throw your belt at somebody, you're trying to hit them. You know what I mean? So I feel like he did that out of fear too, because if he would have hit me in the eye, the fight would have got canceled for sure. So now I got him scared. You know, I definitely know he's scared of me 100%. But now, you know, the fight is getting closer. Now the talking is coming to an end. Now I'm gonna beat the fuck out of him February 1st.
Man, y'all heard it here first. So if you betting, if you own that sports book, that DraftKings, that mybookie.ag, we ain't got no sponsors yet. Look, if you own one of them, you heard what the man said. He whooping ass and he taking names.
Hey, let me ask you a question though, David. Since like I know it's like what's your second fight at light heavyweight now?
Yeah.
With that being said, how has your regimen changed with you moving up in a new weight class with this upcoming fight?
So my regimen hasn't changed. It's only I resumed it. Basically, my last fight, I didn't tell nobody because, you know, I didn't want to say shit. You know, at the end of the day, you know very well, we all go through injuries. But I went through the worst injuries in my career. You know, I tore the tendon here, I think like 8 weeks into the camp. No, yeah, there was 7 or 8 weeks left in the camp, and then I fractured this one, a month left into the fight, and then I got 10 stitches 2 weeks before the fight from sparring. So I was going through a lot of stuff, and I couldn't work the strength and conditioning because my hands were fucked up. I couldn't lift up weights. I couldn't do nothing. But as for the performance, I thought I had a pretty good performance. I won 8 or 9 rounds against a really seasoned veteran. His only loss was against Benavidez. So I mean, I was really happy with the performance. But I knew if I would have been able to work strength and conditioning, and if I was able to stick down on my punches, I would have got that guy out of there. But
no, I feel you.
These are the things that, you know, us fighters have to go through sometimes. Because sometimes you might be put in that situation where you're gonna have to find an alternative. You might have to box, you might have to move your head, you might have to do different shit. And I think that fight showed me to myself that I really have the heart, and I'm not gonna let nothing, you know, I'm not gonna let nothing take me down, and I'm not gonna let anything deter myself from a victory.
Nah, like you said, you was right on the mark. Like I just spoke about that last week with Kieron about no fighter really goes into any fight 100%. There's always something going on with something, even from the little minor things that can just, you know, throw you off a bit or make you hesitant to using certain tools in your arsenal. So I understand completely, like you just said, bro. But I'm glad that you seem like you're in a lot better spirits when this time around fight coming around. How has camp been so far with you with this upcoming fight?
Camp has been amazing. We've been training for a long time for this camp. I was already expecting a hard fight. So when this fight came about, I was trying to fight on the because I thought Tank and Lomachenko were gonna fight.
Right.
So for me, I like to be a part of. Obviously I fight my own main event fights, but if it's a way that we can make a fight even bigger, like what we did with the Tank fight. At the end of the day, I'm here for the people, and I want the fans to have the best type of experience. So for Lomachenko and Gervonta, they said that they were in talks that they're going to fight in November. So I was going to fight on the undercard again, but I wasn't liking the opponents that they were giving me because at the end of the day, I want every fight. I want my fights to get harder and harder. You know what I mean? Because like that, you get more experience and you become a better fighter. And I think they were talking about what was his name? What's his name? He's from Philadelphia too. Jesse Hart.
Okay,
and no disrespect to Jesse Hart, he's a great fighter, but I was looking for bigger fights, and I told him, you know what? Instead of giving me that fight, why don't you just give me David Morrell? Let's make this fight happen. Let's make it happen right now.
So you asked for that fight, so yes, you asked for it, bro. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. So like I said, bro, like I wanted the biggest fights possible, and I couldn't get better. That's what I was gonna say. I was getting ready to fight the winner of Better Be and Bivol. So I was already in my head mentally. I was getting ready for a big fight. So we didn't get that fight. We didn't get the winner of that fight, and we weren't getting another big fight. So I said, you know what? Let's just make the hardest fight right now. Me and David Morrell, and the people responded really good, and I'm now here we are. This is a big fight, and like I said, I'm really excited for this fight.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So what does this fight mean to you? Obviously, both personally and professionally for your career.
So professionally for my career, it's a big step up for me too, because it's for another belt. At the end of the day, the accolades, that's all I care about, the belt.
Right.
I don't care if they're interim, the first world title, whatever, because now there's so much belts. But, a WBA belt to me is a WBA belt. So that's something I have yet to add to my collection. So that's a big part of why I made this fight happen. Also, another part is that, I get to go in there and shut this guy up, and that's really another thing that means a lot to me. I'm the type of fighter where if you got something to say about me, we're going to see what's up eventually, this is what I get to do with this fight. I get to show the world what I'm about, and I get to put a beating on David Morrell in front of everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that, bro. You
sound like a legacy dude, bro. Like when you talk about the belts and you talk about legacy, that's something that is almost kind of I don't want to say missing from this generation, but you hear guys talk about the money and talk about like, hey, I want to have one fight a year and make this amount of money, and this is what I want to do. To me, it sounds like you're a guy, you truly care about the legacy of it. Where does that come from?
Just from me, just being a fan of boxing, just like seeing. I've seen everybody's come up. I've seen Marco Antonio Barrera's come up. Oscar De La Hoya's come up. Who else? Manny Pacquiao. And these guys back then, they were, bro, the thing that I admire about them so much is that they were the forefathers to get us to where we're at, to making the amount of money we're making.
Right.
Back then, these guys, they weren't fighting for anything. And they were giving great fights. Like Eric Morales and Barrera, the first fight. I think they both made like 100,000, maybe 50,000. But those fights were like one of the best fights we've seen. So the way I look at it is that if you go and beat everybody, if you beat the best of the best, then the money comes on its own.
The money's gonna be there. Yeah,
the money's gonna come. And then honestly, what matters more to me is the respect that you get from the people. And then the money just comes on its own. If you think you're the best and you say you're the best, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be a hard road to climb up, but it is possible. You just have to have that faith and the confidence in yourself. And like I say, after you beat the best, everything falls in line. And that's really just what I care about. I just really want to show everybody that I'm the best, and I never duck anybody.
So I love that, bro. We love to inspire here too on Bet on Yourself, and like everything that you're saying, like just with us being athletes, I think we understand what for the average everyday person. Can you give some like motivation on what it takes to be great at any profession, like mindset wise and dedication and scheduling wise, like what that truly looks like?
Yeah, so the mindset wise, you just got to be ready to work whenever time it is. I always say that you got to dedicate as much time to your profession as possible. You got to be working overtime, double overtime, triple overtime, because at the end of the day, once you get into whatever profession you're in, the only one that's going to put the work in for you is you. Your coach can't put the work in for you. You can't have somebody want it more than you want it for yourself.
Fact.
So you just got to look for the dream, whatever it is, might be football, basketball, or even if people want to go into stocks, crypto, trading market, whatever it is that they want to do, they got to work harder than the next person. And then you got to have a dream, and you can't give up on your dream. You got to see it all the way through. Also, what a lot of people don't understand is, bro, that dream is not going to happen in 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That shit is going to take you either 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? But once you actually you commit and you see your dream all the way through, then that's when you get blessed. Then that's when the money comes in. That's when the promotion comes in. That's when all that stuff comes in. Right. A lot of people I see a lot of kids now that they're so fucking distracted that they can't even watch a 10-minute video or tutorial on YouTube because they're so distracted from their fucking phones. So in my opinion, all that stuff is taken away from your own dream. You know, you got to see, even from like partying, going out, you got to say, you know, we're done with that. We did whatever we did. Now let's just focus on the dream 100%. And that's just really how you accomplish your dream. You just got to really focus on it and give it what it needs for as long as it takes until you're there.
No, I'm with you on that, bro.
So we say amen. We say amen. I'm with you on that, brother.
All right, so we already know how you feel. We already know, again, like you just mentioned a few minutes ago, that you basically chose this fight because you won the bigger fights out there, which is great to hear that from you, because we need to see that a lot more from other athletes. But like, basically going on Morrell, we know how you feel about him personally. But what can you say? What that is his biggest asset and tools inside the ring that you're looking at when you watch him fight?
So David Morrell, he's, you know, as a boxer, he's a good fighter. You know, he's the Cuban school of boxing. They're all technical fighters. They love to use the ring. You know, they love to use their jab. But for me, I just got to be myself. You know, the thing about me is I have a lot of experience. I've been in the ring with a lot of great champions, not only in the fights, but I've been in champions and sparring since I was 14 years old. So for me, knowing that I got the dog in me, I know I got the dog in me. I just got to go in there and activate it. But, you know, there's just some things that you just have to be in the fights. You know, if somebody loves a fight like me, you know what I mean? I love to go in there and just mix it up. Definitely got to cut the distance, got to use my combinations, got to use all my attributes. You know, so if David Morrell, I'm not worried about him, you know, about anything, because I know that once I get a good boxer in there, then the best out of myself comes out. So I just know that from experience. So, you know, he's a good fighter. I definitely got to be on my P's and Q's. Defense has to be, you know, good. Head movement has to be good. Combinations have to be good too. But that's what I want, and that's what I've been training this whole time for. You know, that's what I've been training, and I know I'm gonna do good, bro. Because at the end of the day, when you love this, there's nothing that anybody could do that, you know, to get you away from this. I love fighting. I love boxing. I love everything about this. You know what I mean? And I'm going to just show the people who I am February 1st.
That's what's up, bro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, how do you let's talk because I love talking landscape of boxing. I love talking about the advancement of the sport. We've had Turki Al-Sheikh come into the sport over the past few years, and we've seen the sports world take to him and see the sport of boxing grow. How do you feel about his involvement in it? Do you have a relationship with him? And will we see any, you know, Turki Al-Sheikh sponsoring any David Benavidez fights in the future, possibly?
Yeah, I've spoken to him. We spoke to him a couple times, and I feel like he's doing a great job. You know, he's putting together these massive fights, and I think it also gives all the other fighters, hope for the future, that because, you know, you might get that call and you might get a $50 million, $100 million fight, you know, because Turki Al-Sheikh's putting this. What did Tyson Fury and Usyk get? They got close to like
something crazy.
They got like a payout
like 60 and 40 million, something like that. 60 and 40, something like that.
Yeah, so it's crazy. That's crazy money, you know what I mean? So I feel like now us boxers, we went through this period of time where we weren't really making that much money. So now the doors are open so we can make more money. But also, I would say that I love Turki Al-Sheikh and everything they're doing. But at the end of the day, we still got to think about the U.S. You know, about everything was going on here. You know, I want to be the Vegas fighter. You know, they still have yet to come to Vegas.
Right.
You know, people in the U.S. are still going to be in the U.S. Not everybody could go to Riyadh and go to all those fights. You know what I mean? But I would be down to fight in one of their cards. But, you know, I'm in the U.S. right here, and we got our market to take care of here.
For sure.
Right. And speaking of the U.S., man, like, I was with you guys like the PBC and everything like that. How has Al Heyman changed your life over the course of the last few years with the
No,
PBC and everything?
He's definitely changed my life. I feel like me and Al Heyman, we have a great relationship, and he's given me a great opportunity. I've been talking to Al Heyman since I was like 20 years old. I'm 28 now. And these people, they changed my life where I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about none of that. All I have to worry about is doing my job. My father, Jose Benavidez, and my lawyer, David Garcia, they've negotiated my contracts, really well. And, I don't really got to worry about the money side of the sport. But Al Heyman, he's really taking care of me. Al Heyman and Luisa Kubis and Samson Lukowicz, they've done an amazing job, and I'm really happy and really grateful for everything they've done with my career.
Shout out to Al, man. Shout out to Al. Like,
now, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I ain't never seen Al. Have you seen Al, bro?
I've only seen him one time.
Are you for real?
I had a meeting with him one time, and that's the only time I've seen him. But he's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's tall. He's tall as fuck.
Yeah, he's tall as that. You can't miss him.
Yeah, but he's a great guy, bro. He's an amazing guy.
For sure. Do you think there's something to the mystique of that, of a man that is truly so focused on his work and his buildings and his building of a brand that his physical body isn't seen, but his presence is always there? Is there something to that about that drew you to PBC? Or not necessarily him, but is there something about that mystique?
To be honest with you, I feel like I think he's just been in the business for so long, not even just in the boxing business, but in, he's been in the show business. Yeah. I feel like sometimes you just get tired of all that stuff, and you get tired, answering the questions from all these people. So he has his people. He's not the face. Al Heyman, he does the business in the back, and he lets like Tom Brown, Samson Lukowicz, and all those people be the face.
Sylvia, gotta mention Sylvia. Sylvia out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sylvia and Brad, man. Yeah, they do a lot of work out there, man. But yeah, man, I was definitely doing a lot of good work, especially with your career, man. Man, like I said, man, I'm happy for you, bro. Like I said, I've seen you come from to where you're at now. What fight in your opinion though, it was your breakout moment that really had people like, yo, I gotta watch him? Because for a long time, because like I said, I came in amateurs up with your brother, well, Jose. And like I said, I remember Jose. I was there in the same tournament when he won the tournament. What was that? I think no, he fought Frankie Gomez back in 09 Nationals. So then he went pro after that, and he took off.
I think that might have been the Golden Gloves.
I think that was a Nationals in Colorado. It was in Colorado. It was in Colorado because I remember Frankie Gomez went on to the Worlds, but Jose went on and signed with Ty Rank and started doing his thing. But then you had came about after the fact. But how is it just working alongside with your brother? Because I see that he's coming back on this card as well. So I know there's also a very special bond between the two of you guys, especially when you guys can push each other in the gym or whatever.
Yeah, it was good, bro. I feel like I was like the secret weapon that my brother and my father were always working on.
Right.
It took a little bit longer for me to get out because I was always fat, and it was hard for me to make weight. That's why I never fought the amateurs, because I would only make weight one time, and then the rest I wouldn't be able to make the rest of the weight. But that didn't take nothing away from the fact that I was always in the gym. I was always working. I was always sparring. Even when I was 12 years old, 13 years old, I was the only kid working in the same time when Pacquiao was working, because my brother was working with Pacquiao.
Yep.
So I got to see all this stuff up close and personal. And then when I was 14 years old, I was sparring Latif Coyote, which was a cruiserweight champion at the time. And then 14, I went to spar Kelly Pavlik. 15, I was sparring Golovkin before Golovkin even made his U.S. debut. So I had been working. And then my dad is a freaking, when I used to live with him, he was a freaking tyrant. He just made me train all day and night. So, but I'm happy the way my life went like that. Back then I thought my dad hated me because my dad would just make me work nonstop. But my dad, little did I know, my dad taught me heart to never give up. So I'm really happy with that. And I wouldn't, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't change anything. I'm really happy with the hard work that I put in. All the hard times me and my dad had that he made me work, but that made me to where I'm at today, and that's why I'm so confident in myself right now, because man, I've been through a lot. And I'm still here. I'm still thriving. I'm still working, and I can't be stopped.
Still growing, bro. Still growing. Gotta love and respect that, man.
Now I'm a big bro. Because you say I was actually about your brother. I'm a big bro, and I didn't pick on my brother. Was it times where Jose was just fucking with you and he just would get you in a sparring session and just do you bad? Like, was it that way or what? Or did he have sympathy? Because I'm going to be honest, I ain't had no sympathy. My little brother, I was going to choke him out until he tapped.
No, when I was like 14 years old, my brother beat the shit out of me. And then it's funny you say you'd make you tap, because my brother would wrestle me too. He'd fucking he'd choke me out. He'd choke the shit out of me. So my brother, he was always tough, bro. My brother's more like a street dude. So he was always tough. He was like an intimidator. So that kind of rubbed off on me. But I would spar him and it would get bad. We wouldn't talk for weeks.
Dang.
And we got into fist fights. We got into fist fights a lot. Like, we got into a lot of fist fights because, my brother's he's a hard ass. And until I got tired one day, I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired of you picking on me, bro. Like, I hate this shit. So we got into it. But I feel like once that happens, you get in a fist fight where your bond becomes even stronger. You know what I mean? And I love my brother. He'll do anything for me, and I'll do anything for him. And, even to this day, I would say he's the one who motivated my whole career, because I always wanted to be like him. And that's the only reason I started boxing, to be like him. So I owe a lot to my brother.
No, that's love, man. That's love. Like I was saying earlier, though, which fight, though, just going a little bit off the topic, though, of that, like, for you, so which fight would you say was your breakout moment that put you out there? Because, again, like I said, everybody knew your brother, and then you came along. So which fight, though, was it for you, in your opinion, in your honest opinion, that really put you out there on the map?
So I think it was the first one really put me on, and then the second one really just blew my name up. The first one was when I knocked out Porky, Rogelio Medina, because the knock, I knocked him out like an 8-punch combo, and that
was crazy.
That had put me in position to fight for the belt. So that's the one that really put me on. And then I fought Ronald Gravel, and then I'll become the youngest super middleweight champion in history. But it was my opinion, it was Porky, Rogelio Medina, and then the one who really just exploded me was when I fought Caleb Plant. That fight, that just let everybody know who I was, and it and then it showed that I could be, that I'm a great fighter when the lights are on, because there's sometimes the lights get shined on, it's a little bit harder to perform. But that one, I just I performed to my best of my abilities, and that's the one that really put me on. And
there was a lot of bad blood with that one too. It was a lot of bad blood with that one too.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was my first pay-per-view fight as well too. So that's what really set me up to be here.
That's gangster. How did you because we've heard the story, but how did you get the nickname the Mexican Monster? Was it like you was hanging out one night with Mike and Mike was like, "You the Mexican Monster"? Like how did that go, bro? Because
that's exactly how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened.
No, because we had when I first started, I got with Samson Lukowicz, signed with him, and then he gave me, because with the old promoters, they always love to give nicknames.
Right.
So they say you need a nickname. My first nickname was El Bandera Roja. So I didn't really like it, but I was just following the program.
Yeah.
Now, fans liked it though, bro. I seen a lot of fans ask me like, "Yo, when he gets on, man, make sure you ask him about why he changed the nickname from that." Fans loved it though, from what I was seeing though.
They showed love. They liked it too. I grew to like it, but I sat down. I did the podcast with Mike Tyson. We were talking, bro. Mike Tyson's like the coolest person like I've ever sat down and talked to. He's a real person. And then he's like, man, I think you a Mexican monster. And then I'm like, damn. So I'm like, man, if Mike Tyson gives me that, I got to stay with it.
Get him wrong with it.
And then people loved it. I love it, and everybody else likes it too. So we ended up making the decision to stick with that.
That's dope. Well, like most people say, man, you don't just get to get a nickname, you earn a nickname. So I think you earn that, bro. That's hard, bro. That's hard.
Yeah,
for sure. Let's jump in. So let's jump into. I know you tired of hearing it, bro. How do you feel about the continued people disrespecting you, Canelo disrespecting you, saying this guy does nothing but bring in 200 pounds, and now today we hear him fighting William Skull. I don't know who William Skull is, no disrespect to him, but here's another guy who's being announced that is nowhere close to being as talented as you are. How do you feel about that? And do you think we'll get a chance to see that in 25?
To be honest with you, bro, that shit pisses me off. Like, it really pisses me off because for the person that doesn't know where I'm coming from, let me put it to you like this. You're working your ass off and you know you're going to get a promotion for the past 4 or 5 years and you're still there. And then the person, they don't want to give you the promotion because they don't like you. You know what I mean? That's probably the only way I can explain it to the casual fan. But, you know, I had been working my ass off, bro. I had 2 world titles. I had won 2 WBC world titles, 168. So my dream was being undisputed, you know, challenging for the undisputed belts. And I was there. I was the #1 contender to fight for the belt. And everybody wanted to see the fight. But Canelo, he's a fucking pussy at the end of the day. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it at all. He's a pussy and he didn't want to fight me. Saying that I ain't bring nothing to the table, that I'm too heavy, that I haven't accomplished nothing yet. But, bro, at the end of the day, you tell me if this man is scared or not. They were going to give him 70 million before pay-per-view. They were only going to pay me a flat fee of $5 million with no pay-per-view, nothing. I said, I don't care. I want the opportunity. I don't give a fuck about the money. Let's do it. And they said, oh, you know what? Never mind. They went with another person. So, like, bro, if he fought Edgar Berlanga and he made 30 million, was it 35 million, 40 million?
Right.
Why wouldn't he not fight me when he says he beat me and I'm nothing and he makes 100 million?
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. So for the people saying that he's not scared of me, you guys are fucking stupid too. You guys can see he don't want to fight me. Bro, he's made with me, it would be more money. He'll make more money than anybody else. And what the fuck is the problem? If he says that he can beat me, why not come beat me and make the biggest bag possible? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. That's crazy.
That's really what frustrates me. You know, just to see these stupid ass people talk.
You know how that shit go though, too, bro. You know how that shit go. Like they'll throw you out that flat fee number, thinking you're gonna just run from it and be like, "Oh, that's not enough," and walk away. But I see that you actually was like, "All right, cool, whatever. I'll take that. I'll take that. Just give me the fight."
I was talking to Samson Luca, which they had talking about that. I said, I agreed to it right there. I didn't even double take it. I said, no, they said, think about it. I said, I don't need to think about it. I was like, let's do it. But then that was in the time where he was negotiating with Mugia, so he went the other way. But, bro, at the end of the day, if this fight happens, I don't know. I would like it to happen. I feel like it's going to be one of the best fights in Mexican boxing history. But if it doesn't happen, bro, it really doesn't matter to me. You know, I stay in my own lane. I have a lot. I have a lot of opportunities in front of me right now. So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, keep beating all the guys. And then maybe when Canelo runs out of people to fight in 5 years, I'm going to still be here. And maybe we can make it happen then.
I like that, bro. But I know one thing I noticed about you, though, bro, is that I remember you saying, and this is one of the reasons why you moved up to light heavyweight, because it was like, yo, I'm not going to sit around and wait for anybody. And plus, I'm not going to stall my own legacy waiting for one name. So I respect it about you, because you see a lot of guys that sit around waiting for that one fight. And the whole time they just letting time just go by. And you know, as a fighter, bro, ring rust is crazy on the body. And so I commend you for not only moving away from that fight temporarily at least, but still going on to fight bigger, other big challenges out there. So I gotta give you respect for that too, bro.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys, what the fuck do you guys think about him fighting William Skull in May?
You heard what
a fighter. I'm like I said, I respect all.
Hey, look, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't.
Now, hold on, I'm gonna say this.
He ain't gonna do it, David. Let me tell you the truth. Cause he a fighter. He ain't gonna be disrespectful. Who the fuck is William Skull? Nobody has heard of William.
I'm respect from fighter to fighter. Man. I get it, but at the same time, it's like as a fan first. And I was saying, I'm a fan first. I'd rather see you and him or whatever, but like, yeah, I think that William Skull, and you know how that goes. That just out there to throw people off. Honestly, in my opinion, to negotiate, because we also hear about him fighting Bud, so that could be one of those things where he wants to throw names out there to throw everyone off at the negotiating table to basically leverage his way at times. So, but at the same time, I'm not trying to see a William Skull fight.
So bro. You know what he does. And now I know exactly what he does, which is it's fucked up too. So what he does is he throws all these names out. He thinks he lets everybody think that they're gonna fight, and then when there's 5 weeks left to the fight, he makes the decision. Right. So he makes these people work on half-ass training camps. Like, you think about a big fight, bro. 5 weeks ain't shit.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
At least eight.
At least,
8
bro.
weeks.
That's
6
he
to
did
8
the
weeks.
same. He did the same thing with Berlanga. He did the same thing with what's the name, Mungia, and that's kind of some weak ass shit right there too. If you're the best in the world, and he's training this whole time, and then he only gives you guys like 6 weeks to prepare, like that's some goofy shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But and what gets me mad too is like his fans are like super delusional, bro. Like he's making all this money and he's making you guys pay for these bullshit ass fights, and you guys are still happy. Like it shit don't make no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've always come from the background of football, dog. Whoever on your schedule, you play them. You can't duck the Chiefs because they 13-1 or 13-0, whatever they are. You got to play the fucking Chiefs. Yeah. So like, I want it to be at some point in boxing where maybe there's some type of union or there's something in place to where fighters can't duck, especially a guy like yourself. Like you said, you did everything you're supposed to do to be the number one contender. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. There should be something in place where that doesn't happen.
But you know what it is too, bro. Is like when at the end of the day you give Canelo his props. He's the cash cow, just like on Mayweather's. Sometimes these organizations play favorite because they get their percentage as well.
True.
Right.
So they don't want to fuck up their bag either. You know what I mean? It's kind of probably might get in trouble for saying this shit.
Business.
That's what it is.
We understand. Business, brother.
Yeah. Hey, that 3%, depending on who's carrying the belt, goes a long way.
Yeah.
Exactly. We know how that go, bro.
We know how it goes, bro. Yeah. So I always try to come over from. I'm for the fighter. Without y'all, we don't have a sport. So if we don't take care of the fighters, if we don't make sure that the fighters' minds, bodies, spirits, families are taken care of, we don't have a sport, or we don't have a long-lasting one. Especially if you want your greats to really be involved and love it, you got to take care of them, bro. So like, I'm always on y'all side when it comes.
I got my man 10-8 podcast, and he said, "Do you think 3%?" It's not about saving Canelo. I don't think 3%. It's about. I'm talking about what David's speaking on is the sanctioning bodies getting their 3%. If Canelo, so let's say if he make $100 million, in a fight, and they get that 3%, and they can go an easy route by just getting that 3%, they're gonna keep taking that route. That's what he's trying to say. He's not saying that 3% is saving Canelo. 3% is benefiting. Saying the sanctioning bodies is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. And it guarantees more 3% are coming in.
And that's just one belt. You got to think about 3% for this belt, 3% for this belt. Yeah. They gonna rack up. Like when he went on that run, and respect to Canelo, like I said, like David said, he's cash cow, and there's nothing against Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He's paved his way, but like when he went on that run for that the year before, or whatever, when he fought like 4 or 5 times in 1 year, you best believe that those section bodies was collecting every time he stepped in the ring with those belts.
Yeah.
So it's just racking them up.
It's just my way of view is that I see is, if you win all those belts, you got to be ready to defend those belts from them dogs that are coming up. And that's why for me and myself, that's why I feel like I want to give myself the hardest fights I could possibly give myself, because I want to give myself in the headspace where I'm used to that, where I don't turn down no big fights. Just because so when I win all the belts, just because I have the belts, I'm gonna get easier fights. No, fuck that. We're gonna make the legacy even stronger. We need to keep beating everybody. Just like Bernard Hopkins, bro, he was beating everybody. This dude fought everybody. He was beating everybody. Who else? Oscar De La Hoya. He was beating everybody. Manny Pacquiao. He's beating everybody. So once you look down if it's somebody like us talking boxing, and we look at the long history of boxing, the real champs who were there actually really beating everybody, we know. Not some other people that are not really hardcore boxing fans might know, but I'm doing this for the real hardcore boxing historians. And I want for myself too, because at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself. Right. You can try to, but you can't. Right. You can't lie to yourself. At the end of the day, I don't want to prove to the world. I want to prove to myself first, then the world. I'm the best.
That's right. So they say boxing is what I will say is one of not even the only sport, because any contact sport, but it's a sport that don't lie. Yeah. If you ain't putting that work in, and then you go and get in that ring, it's gonna show. Yeah. So I respect you, bro. Shoot, man.
Nah. I'm like I want to ask you a question. Like, switch off Canelo for a minute, because everybody we already know that situation. But like I said, you focus on your own lane. I'm going off of my man 10A said again. You beat Morrell outside of Canelo. What do you want after that?
So right now we're looking at this fight's gonna put us in position to fight to be the #1 contender for Beterbiev and Bivol. So that we're getting ready for that. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna win this fight, and that's
right.
that's what we're gonna go up to next. But I understand that this is a rematch, and if it's the same fight as the first fight, there might be a third fight. You know, which is I can't get mad at that because the first fight was great. So if the second fight's great, then you gotta give that trilogy the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
But if I'm able to get in there before they fight again, or if there's another fight, then definitely. If that doesn't happen, I'm thinking about, I talked to Oscar De La Hoya and thinking about if there's an opportunity for me to go up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez, then I would love to do that as well.
Man, speaking of weight, recently you spoke about even heavyweight.
Not right now.
Hey, look, you see my eyes got big because look, you say cruising.
Usyk came over the conversation.
Usyk,
but I fuck with that mindset. Like you just basically trying to go out for whatever's available, but not just any fight, the biggest and the best challenges you could possibly make out there. And like I said, I seen that you even mentioned guys like Usyk. So touch on that, your respect on terms of that, in terms of Usyk and that fight opportunity if it comes around the corner sometime down the road.
So the fights that I like I try to plan for myself. I try to think, is it realistic?
Right.
For me, I've worked with Ramirez before, and he wants to fight too. So that fight is really realistic because he's the champion right now. He has 2 belts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usyk, he still has yet to make the decision to come down, and Usyk, he really calls a shot. So I don't know what he would want to do.
Right.
Well, first of all, let me get my feet. Let me put my feet in the
time. Yeah,
first.
take your time.
Just jump in there, right?
Take your time.
Yeah, so that would be the plan.
Take your time.
Yeah, but Ramirez, if I could get that fight, I'm really confident I could beat him, and then I would add 2 more world titles to my collection. So, like I said, bro, I'm just trying to reach greatness, and I really want to be the best fighter by the time I'm done in my era. I want to be the best of my generation.
Yeah. Well, let's jump back on the Beterbiev and Bivol. Like in that, how did you analyze that first fight? Because I mean, a lot of guys had Bivol winning that fight. Some people said, "No, Beterbiev took it." How did you analyze it from your perspective of being a boxer?
To be honest with you, I thought Bivol won. I thought he landed the cleaner shots. He was boxing really nice, boxing beautiful. There might have been a couple times that what's his name? Beterbiev hurt Bivol, but it wasn't as clean as when Bivol was hitting him. And then when it comes to fights like that, it was such a close fight. You have to go off of the shots that were more clean and the combination. Who had ring control? And to be honest, it looked like to me like Bivol had the ring control. I mean, obviously he had some hard rounds that he lost, but it looked like he had majority of the fight. He had control of the fight.
I mean, I felt the same way. I felt like Bivol boxed a great fight, and he didn't deserve to lose that. But like we talk about, it's a business. I felt like they wanted that round 2, and now with that round 2, you get to see, or is there going to be a round 3? So, that brings me into my next question. I mean, with everything that's going on and everything that's currently in the sport of boxing, you also got a family, bro. What has fatherhood been like and being a husband been like to you, and how has that helped shape you in boxing also?
So to be honest with you, I feel like my family is the best thing that's ever happened to me. My wife is the best thing that's ever happened to me because, she's really helped me clean up my life. I'm doing some dumb shit back then, and just growing up, making a lot of money, making mistakes. But, at the end of the day, once you have your family at home, I got 2 kids now, my wife, it makes me be a better man for myself and for my family. And now the only thing I do now, bro, it's training, it's God, boxing, and family, and that's it. And when you live along those lines, I feel like God blesses you in more ways than you could even imagine. So right now, my wife, she takes care of everything at home. She makes sure that when I get home, I don't have to worry about nothing. All I have to worry about is training. And then my son, he's there. He's going to be a little champion too. So he gives me a lot of motivation as well. And it's just me wanting to be the best version of myself at home and in the ring. You know, it's just helping me manifest my life and manifesting my dreams. It all comes into fruition together.
No, I like that, man, and big respect to her and your children, man. Like I said, we always speak on how family definitely changes you for the best, especially in this sport, you know, because it's already hard as it is being away from family 2 months at a time and some, you know, training camp. So I know it's a lot, but I know family helps you along the way. So I'm glad you said that about the family, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what are some outside things outside of boxing when you do have time away from the sport in the ring that you enjoy to do, whether by yourself or with the family?
To be honest with you, the only other things that I do is just hang out with my kids. My son now, I don't know if you guys seen it, but he's already got the boxing blood in him.
Yeah.
I mean, so he be in there doing the for sure.
Yeah, so that really just takes all my time. I really want to make my son. I want to put all my energy into him, and I want to have my bloodline nothing but champions. You know, I was thinking that the other day. My wife was like, we could let him choose, and I'm thinking, hell no, what the fuck? Obviously, he's gonna say no to boxing, but boxing opens so much doors for you that I have all the connections in boxing. I know how to box. I know how to become a champion. I know how to put everything together. Why would I not want my son to do that?
Right,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? I already have, everything I need. All I have to do is just teach him, put that dog in him and make him work hard. So that's my dream now, is being my bloodline, the Benavidez bloodline. I always wanted to be remembered in boxing.
So do you see yourself as a trainer when you're done
Yeah,
fighting?
no, actually, I love training. I also love training, bro. I feel like with me, boxing is a switch that can't be turned off. Even when I'm at home, I study boxing. I watch boxing all the time. When I'm at the gym, I train my friends, and I feel like I have so much knowledge in boxing because I've been in boxing for 26 years that I have to give my knowledge to my friends and my companions that are training with me. So I definitely do. In the future, I want to become a trainer. I want to probably get a couple fighters, and then my son is my main objective. I'm going to make him a champion when he gets older.
Yeah. Now you also have a daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right? How has she helped shape? Because I mean, that's a different perspective. How has she helped shape you, and what is it like being a girl dad? Because that's a different perspective.
Yeah. So the boy dad, I mean, the boys and the girls are way different. The boys, you kind of make them earn their stuff, and then the girls, you just want to give them everything. Yeah. So she's my little princess, and yeah, bro, it's something different. It's something different that clicks in you when you have kids. It's just you kind of like want to straighten out your life, not kind of. You want to straighten out your life, and then you want to just work as hard for them so they can have everything they want. You know what I mean? So it's really changed my life, bro. And then I'm about to have another kid too in May 25th. I'm gonna have another boy.
Congratulations. So, you heard it here first. Yeah. You heard it here first. We got all the best takes in boxing. Baby's on the way. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's just been a blessing, bro. I mean, honestly, it's definitely been a blessing, and I'm just really happy. I'm really motivated to just keep this going and just, keep being the best version of myself I could possibly be.
Bro, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So, I mean, we talking about family, and I mean, your father, Jose Benavidez Sr., like, how has he – I mean, I know you said at times he was a tyrant, but how has the relationship grown over the years from thinking back to where you were when you were a kid to where you are now?
So I've been thinking about that. You get older, you think of stuff like that. I kind of felt bad because when I was younger, me and my dad, we had a lot of problems because, like I said, I just thought that, he was just always hard on me for no reason. But once you get older and you have kids of your own, like I see with my son, it's not easy, bro. And a lot of kids are sometimes they're ungrateful. They think that you're just mean to them, you're just this and that. But at the end of the day, I give it up to my dad because he sacrificed all his, his career, everything. He put 110% of his energy into us. So now I look at that. I was having a conversation with my dad the other day. Like, man, I'm really grateful for everything you did for me, because if it wasn't for you, I would have gave up on myself a long, long time ago. Because this is how hard this sport is, bro. My dad, he's kept me in there. He stayed by my side. He spent all his money on us for training camps and taking us to California, and he really dedicated everything. So I'm really grateful. I'm really fortunate to have a father like my father that, you know, really spent all his time, and he didn't let us not succeed. You know, he made sure that we were going to be successful no matter what.
For sure. Well, that's a blessing. Have you had and what I will say on Bet on Yourself, we do get sentimental, bro. So if you feel the need, it's all good, bro.
It's all good.
If you want to share, you can, bro. Like how has that been as far as like having those conversations with your dad and like, you know, like saying like, hey, I appreciate you and things like that. Like how has he received that?
He's been really happy about that, and it's also good for me, for my spirit too, because I feel like sometimes a father and son duo, especially in boxing, they have a lot of animosity towards each other. You know what I mean? But sometimes once you realize that your father only wants the best out of you, you know, it helps me for my spirit to tell him, me telling him thank you, like I really appreciate everything. And you know, my dad, he cries a lot. Back then he was a tough guy, but now he cries for everything now. So
he's a proud man. He's a proud man. He's a proud father, yo.
Now it makes me happy because I feel like I'm finally maturing. You know, I've matured a lot. So that's just helped me with everything. And I'm just, you know, now where everything is perfect. Now we have more chemistry than we did before. And, you know, everything is just flowing better now. And now we already got to this point. So now we could go ahead and go and achieve more greatness.
Man, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Well, blessings to your family, dog. And I mean, just because I come from a background, I didn't have a close relationship with my father. So just building and understanding that everybody has a path that they go through. And so just because the beginning of the path was a certain way, it don't mean the end of the path got to be a certain way. So I applaud you, dog. I applaud you for that.
Yeah,
so yeah, let's jump back into boxing. I mean,
I got I only have 5 minutes left because I have to do.
That's cool. Now we can wrap it up. We can wrap it up, though. We can wrap it up.
Let's do your top five, man. Who is your top five boxing
of all time or no?
All time. Of all time.
I gotta do it's not in order.
Right. Okay.
5 Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and Manny Pacquiao. I could have named
solid 5. We'll take that. That's a solid 5. Now, the last question: who is in your top pound for pound 5 today?
No order. Ain't gotta be no order.
I think it's because I've really been. You call me trainer, and right now the landscape of boxing, I don't really know. Definitely Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Who else? I don't know, but to be honest with you, I can only think of those 2 right now.
Take your time, bro. We need this.
I can only think of those 2 right now. But no, there's a lot.
The 2 you gave me is cool enough for me.
I can't forget about Tank. Tank is good. It's just that the thing, bro. So the thing of my problem with boxing right now, there's a lot of great fighters, but not everybody's fighting each other.
Talk to it.
And bro, especially that 135 or that 140 pound weight class, bro. There's so many great fights that can be made right there. Those guys need to fight each other. Honestly, because I'm a fan at the end of the day. But you know, and on like Canelo and me, you know, there's a lot of people, they don't want to take a lot of fights. But you know, there's a lot of great fights. There's a lot of great fighters right now, bro. I think boxing, we're probably in one of the best positions that we've been in probably like the past 5 years. And it looks like all these fighters are fighting. They're gonna start fighting soon. So that 140 pound weight class, there's a lot of great fights to be made. You know, I would like to see, you know, Gervonta fight any of those guys. Teofimo, Shakur, Lomachenko. I would even still like to see Devin Haney fight Teofimo, Gervonta. There's a lot of great fights to be made, bro. So I feel like we got a lot of great fights coming these next couple years.
Well, hey, 140. Man. Y'all heard Big Bro. Y'all heard Big Bro 140.
And listen. With that being said, that's it right there, man. But David, man, first of all, like I said, thank you for coming on, brother. But let everybody know where they can find you at on your platforms, brother, man.
Yeah, you can find me at Benavidez300 on Instagram. Wherever anybody wants merch, www.davidbenavidez.shop. We're going to be fighting February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena. It's going to be, an amazing card. I've been working extremely hard, and I promise you guys, I'm going to give you guys what you want to see. David Benavidez there's going to be no half-ass performance. It's going to be one of my best performances up to date. So make sure to tune in February 1st at T-Mobile Arena.
For sure. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, thank you guys, man.
I'm gonna stay in touch with you, bro, man. But like I said, man, I'm trying to get out there too to support you and everything, brother, man. Thank you again for coming on.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you guys. Good night, man.
Good night, David. There you have it.